Good morning, traders. Welcome to the All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We'll be going through live order flow analysis using Bookmap with the goal here, very simply, is to understand how traders are reacting in the market. We can see that because the only way that they can interact is via their orders. By understanding the order flow or their activity, we can start to understand their sentiment. And that is an edge, right? So that's what we're here for, is to understand the order flow and put into a bigger picture perspective or context. That's the edge that we can get. All right, so we went through this yesterday in detail. We show this slide every time. I'll redo this slide and make it a little bit clearer, but there's just 4 things that we look for in here. They're all super important, and we want to filter out as much noise as we can. So number 1 here is what's moving the market, the impetus. Okay, we want to understand that. What are traders reacting to? What kind of day is it going to be? So for example, what's the news? Well, we know that there's a few things really on hold here. We have FOMC tomorrow. We have really big earnings report from Microsoft, Tesla, and God, who else is it? Meta on Wednesday, and then I think on Thursday, yeah, we have Apple and a bunch of others. So we're getting into the heart of it now. But these Mag 7 or tech stocks, we really want to understand what's going on with them, right? And that's unfolding this week. So we're going to have a lot of kind of wait and hold environment right now. Maybe there's a lot of speculating on earnings are going to be good, or the Fed might be moving, or changing rates, or whatever it might be. We'll look for that in the market. Okay, now we're going to look for also the key levels. At our key levels, and we're going to look at swings and what happens at some of these key levels, and then we're going to look for or start to develop some scenarios and strategies. So this is a very powerful way to start to filter your day. And we haven't even gotten to the setup, right? We're not going to just jump in and look for a setup. We're going to go through a lot more first and understand. We're going to go through and understand the this environment here, and then come up with some trade ideas, and then we look for setups to go along with this filtering that we do in here. When it comes to our setup, we simply we know what it is, we know the checklist, we grade it, we determine our risk, and then we look for our order flow events in here to give us that edge, and we take the trade. Okay, this is where the setup really becomes mechanical. This part in here is what we're kind of looking at and putting into context. Now, there's something more I want to go over today, it fits into this pilot program as well. What I had outlined here is the Bookmap Academy process, and basically it's the same in this pilot program in here. This is a subset of the Bookmap Academy. What this is all about, though, is about an edge. So it's taking a big step back and looking at things in a different light, and saying well, I mean, this is the biggest gap that I've seen with traders, is that they need to have an edge, and they don't know if they do have an edge, nor do they know if they don't know how to build one either. So that's what the pilot program will do. You'll go through a very simple setup, and get really good at it, and build out an edge by trading it. We have a process in here and a structure that will allow you to trade it, and it's and test it, and also have not only experience and a qualitative type of experience by trading it and understanding it, but then also quantitative, because you're going to be capturing it in your journal and our trading web journal, and the statistics will be in there over time. That should prove to you about your edge. Okay, this is the fastest method I've seen, because you can speed it up in replay mode in Bookmap. All right, so let's go through some disclosures and then we'll jump in here. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in here and what's going on. All right, so let's take a quick look here, but we need to go through our process again, and we will. Just going to take a quick look at the opening drive here in the order flow. All right, so you can see here, let's just zoom in a little closer. Here's our kind of opening drive, or the cash open here. You can see we come back down in very kind of narrow range in here pre-market. And we trade into this area around 90-ish, which was important yesterday. That was actually our target yesterday, was around 90. And then we can see that, we have some sellers come in, so we have a stop run here. And then we get some buyers coming in back up into this range here, and they're able to move the market. Now we have a pullback, and we're getting buyers again. Okay, so let's look for these buyers to trade back up into this liquidity here at 07, 8, and maybe 10. Okay, so looks to me right now like, yeah, we may get that move, but it's looking pretty back and forth in here. The impetus or the opening drive move is here. You can see it clearly. We've come back all the way back to it and tested it down here. And you can see that there was more liquidity in here, okay, on the bid, and then we do get our buyers come in, right? All we've done now is come back to the top of the range, and then we see a bit of a pullback right now. Okay, so anyway, we'll look again for more buyers to come in. We look for again more liquidity on the bid to fill, and then you look for maybe more aggressive buyers to come in and back up and maybe around this 05, or I'm sorry, 04.5 area here. Okay, maybe they can drive it back up into these areas of high liquidity. All right, welcome from Norway. All right, good to hear. And let's see here. Jump in. All right, yeah, good morning, Brugesh, Laura, Dan, Stephen, and Shark. Okay, so you got some rolling blackouts in California, Shark, it sounds like. You remember the days from Enron and the rolling blackouts? So it's a joke, but anyway. Okay, so yesterday, I want to kind of continue from yesterday's theme. And let me show you that webinar, and I want to share it with you guys because we went into some detail. I really liked it, that we went into some details about understanding and trading around the market structure and the breaks, the key levels, and the order flow and liquidity shifts. All right, so I'll put this into the chat for you guys if you want to review it, but because we're going to kind of piggyback off of a lot of the same concepts in here. We're going to go just a little deeper into it. And it's important, though. So it's very important. Filtering your trades out and looking for gems out of that is what we're trying to do. And that will allow us to look for a higher probable outcome. Okay, so that is the goal. So here is yesterday's webinar. And then let's go into, I already put it into the chat for you guys in, I'll put it in again here, in Discord. All right, so the we talked a lot about market structure. This is so important, and you know, we've been covering order flow at an advanced level for years in here. And kind of taking a bigger step back here, and then drilling into some of the simplistic overviews and then putting order flow within it. And we're seeing it right in front of us here. I mean, we see it all the time right in front of us. This is one of the things that Bookmap is so good at, is visualizing the market. All right, so what do I mean here? In fact, we're going to have to come up here and turn off the stops and icebergs. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Just the stops here for now. Okay. All right. So we left off, and we started talking about the market structure. Okay, so let me take everything off the chart here, and we'll just look at best bid and offer to begin with. Okay, so I'll take the heat map off, and I'll take the volume dots off. Right. I'm also going to hide this column, and there we go. Okay, so market structure. Okay, where is the price action happening? Look at the back and forth in here. Now, obviously, for the volume profile guys or market profile guys, you're looking at basically the same thing. You're looking at where the transactions are taking place within the market structure. Okay, that's great. However, just remember that this aggregates all of that, so you don't know where these are actually happening, just be aware about some of the limitations on looking at a volume per price level. All right, now here's what we were talked about with market structure. Okay, here's a breakout here, opening drive, and we broke above all of this price action in here. Okay, so you can see it in here. Probably better to go with this one here. We broke down here. Let's see, where did we break down to? Okay, there's a little area right here. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, we can cover why it makes sense in here, but we retested down here and we found some buyers. Okay, we know that because price went up. We came back up, tested the structure here again, this little structure, and broke out. Okay, and broke out to the upside. Look where we came back and retested here. Okay, we retested to this structure right here where we broke out from. All right, this is classic. We see it all the time. And what we're going to be looking for in the near future, and I'll have a new setup for you guys in the pilot program called the low volume pullback. Okay, this is not really it. There's high volume on here. Okay, so we have to be kind of careful on some of these here. Anyway, this is the structure. Now, what is the structure at the moment? Well, this is it here. Okay, we are just going back and forth within this structure now. This is where price broke out from, and it is accepting in this area in here. So you guys looking at your market profile, you're looking for your TWAP as well. You're looking for time and acceptance above a level. Okay, and that's happening here. All right, so we are bullish on this because we broke out and we are holding so far. Okay, so now we want to understand the order flow within this area in here. Okay, now let's turn on the volume dots in the heat map. Okay, the first thing is the volume dots. Okay, so where are the majority of the transactions taking place? Okay, well, you can see it here on the buy on the way up. Okay, and then again in here, a nice cluster in here. Now some pretty heavy selling, a little cluster of selling here, and then some pretty heavy selling here as you see the spike, right? But we still see more buyers coming back in, and then this was our primary scenario that we're looking for, and I'm looking for buyers to come back into this top edge and test it. Okay, test up into high liquidity. We can see it in the order book here at this 10 level. Okay, the most is up there, 409 contracts. Okay, this is looking at the DOM or COB or current order book. So yeah, we look for more buyers to try to push it. Okay, now we're going to look for order flow events in here to give us that edge. Okay, now this is taking a step back. I have not gone over the impetus, higher time frames. I haven't gone over the key levels too much. We're just going over this structural area in here and kind of piggybacking off of yesterday's webinar, right? So we're just making a point in here about this. We'll, after this point, then we'll get into the market impetus, our key levels, etc. Okay, but because what I want to get to is market timing today. Timing is just such a big part of this, and we can filter our days on the timing. Market timing is critical. So opening drive, this is well known in the market. Okay, look for these drives, look for your low volume pullbacks and your opening drives, for example. Okay, here's one right here. Okay, you know, a beauty. All right, so we have the opening drive. Look at all that volume. Look at the pullback here. Look at the volume in the bars and the dots and the colors. And there is your low volume pullback right here. Okay, beauty. Come back up. Here's even a smaller one here, even a smaller one here. Okay, now I don't want to confuse you guys, but this is the main one here. We see the buyers come back in and they trade back up here. Okay, you start to build that edge up here. Okay, that top edge. Okay, here it is here. Here's your profile. This is what it looks like. You can see more transactions happening up here. This is about to break is what it looks like. And then to explore the profile here. Okay, and to build it out. So to have this kind of look to it, right? We want that bell-shaped curve. We want the price to explore up into this area up in here and see if it accepts. Okay, and then maybe it even does another one of these. In a trending market, that's what it does. Okay, you'll see these profiles like this, right? So anyway, let's move forward here. Okay, so we get that top edge, it breaks, we get, you know, a lot of buying in here. Here's another low volume pullback. Okay, now note the low volume pullback in here, a little more volume on the sell side. Okay, so it's starting to we're starting to kind of slow down a little bit. This is what I'm referring to for you guys is context. So I don't want to confuse you, but if we look at this setup in here for a low volume pullback, how low is this volume compared to this one over here? Right? It's not as low, not by you know, half. I mean, we see a lot more starting to come in here. This is what we're starting to understand. Look at the volume on the way up here. It's a nice move. It's pretty vertical move here, or exponential move, and that looks good. But look at the volume on this and compare it to the volume on this move in here. Okay, all right. So I'm not saying that you pass on this. I'm just saying we're starting to understand the structure and these breakouts. And these impulse moves and then pullbacks. Okay, and we're looking at context in here. We're still looking for this to go higher. You know, putting your risk on something like this, I wouldn't be putting it in here. I would be looking for more interest up in here. You know, I'd probably be getting involved maybe somewhere in here, looking for this top edge and then for it to break. Okay, so again, we're just looking at market structure. And we're looking at the volume or transactions within the structure. Okay, now we're also adding into this picture here opening drive. Okay, market timings for the day. We haven't really, I mean, we've kind of skated around this topic for many years, but we really want to understand and put these into a context that's kind of typical of an opening drive, okay, in the morning, and then in the afternoon or right around this time, 10:30. Typically, what I have seen is these opening drives go from about 9:30 to 10, and then from like 10 to 11 or so, it's usually pretty choppy. Okay, and that's what we're seeing right now. Right, so let's put on the heat map as well. We'll turn that on, we'll select it here, and now we want to understand another context in here. What about those passive orders? Okay, what is that relationship in here to the aggressors and the market structure? Okay, and there shouldn't be any kind of confusion here to understand that we traded up into high liquidity up in these levels here, and we get a pullback. Okay, we see this pullback comes down pretty steep here, and it retraces all the way down. Okay, and it comes to the top of this range in here, and then we see high liquidity here. Okay, and we see it actually on a few different levels, and we see it traded, and then we see that there's kind of a move around it, and then we see a breakout here. Okay, now back to Laura and Nadia, more Nadia, I think, was asking about this this trend line break accumulation type of trade. Well, I mean, this is it on a lower time frame. Okay, so now it's up to you. I don't want to confuse you guys. Like, this is exactly what we want to avoid, is confusion. In fact, we want to have clarity, and we want to make good decisions. I just want to show you that these things exist, and then you can see the same concepts in here. It's not to confuse, it's to confirm that these things work on many time frames. And we can look for these to unfold as well. If you want to trade them, that's up to you. Okay, just understand that these happen quickly, and you'll have to lower your expectations on the move as well, because this is more of a micro move here, or it's a smaller time frame move, lower time frame move. Okay. So we want to look at the swings on the higher time frame, and then we'll drill down further and further and further. Let's see. Any questions? Which volume dots do you find more useful? Andre, I love using the volume delta dots. I love them. Okay, now that's buy minus sell, so you know. So you might see like a massive, buy transaction down here, or we see that it's mostly selling, right? But when we zoom in, we'll get all of the transactions. You'll see it break apart. Okay. But sometimes you see a big buy transaction and a big sell transaction, and they're rather equal. So what do you get? You get nothing here. So there's a lot of volume trading, but you don't see much of a dot. Now, if you don't like that, that's fine. Come up here to your volume dots and select total volume here. Okay, and then that is not buy minus sell, it's buy plus sell. And you can see that they're combined into one dot in here. And you can see here with the pie display that there's more selling, okay, clearly, right? Look at the pie. Like 3/4 more selling compared to like a quarter of buying. It's up to you. I like the volume delta dots. It shows me more momentum and who's in control. Okay. All right. So now look at this. So I would look for, I mean, we're seeing more sellers coming in, and we see one leg, another. We're just trading down. I'm looking for them to drop it a little bit lower here. 7,000. Maybe we can get down to the swing here at 98. Okay. Now that's a small move, right? But the point is, you see the selling coming in. You see the selling coming in. Look at the buying. Look at the buying. Even the structure here is a lower high. Okay, there's a context there. Buyers can't reach higher highs or even equal highs. There's more selling coming in. You look for more selling to come in again and continue. This too, right here, is a low volume pullback. Okay, is that making sense to you guys? I don't know. There's a lot of questions about this low volume pullback. And I was, talking with the, academy coaches about it, but, maybe having different time frame low volume pullbacks. I'm not sure how to handle it yet. That might be the way, but maybe it's just more about context, because this low volume pullback here is different. than the other one that we saw. Okay, like, you know, this one retraced even more, and we see some buying up in here. Still low volume, still low volume. Okay, I would be looking for here or maybe below that area in here for that selling to come in, and then I would target the bottom of the range, take some off, and then look for continuation. Okay, and that's what we're just trying to cover here with this move into 7,000. There, it just did it, and let's see if there's more. Right, we don't know. Okay, we just hit it and we see a bounce immediately. So there's buyers down here at 7,000. Clearly, we know that in the heat map. We can see it right here, and 144 contracts, and then we're getting a little bit of a bounce out of it. Okay, so now that trade for me, that trade idea, it still may work, but I would be out of it. Right, I was looking for 98. This was a scalp down to bottom of the range and 7,000. I'm out. I'm seeing buyers come in. I'm going to take my profit and look for the next one. Okay, these happen very, very often. So I'm not, this volume cluster in here, for me, it's done. Okay, now that doesn't mean that we might see sellers come in heavy right down below 7,000 here. Okay, if we do, we'll look for the next setup, right? But right now, I'm seeing this. I see some risk coming back in. I'm going to take my profit, and I am out. Okay, so it's a quick scalp. Anyway, yeah, let me see here. So integrating the market timing in here, and this is it's good stuff because let me go back into our learning center. Right, go to bookmap.com, click on education, and then it's the course down here, the supply and demand course. During this webinar over the years, like, you know, we've seen this so many times, we came up with some of these patterns to trade during this webinar with regards to supply and demand. One is the the low volume pullback, the wedge pattern in here. Okay, so this happens during this time of day, and I'll just show you quickly. You know, here's our opening drive, and here's all that chop. Okay, let's see, what time was this exactly? Yeah, we can see that we chopped until like just around, almost just before 1 o'clock. Okay, so this is so maddening. You're ready to trade. You know, I want to make some money. You see the sellers coming in, and then you deal with all of this, and it chops you up. Okay, this is to be expected. Okay, during this time of day. So if we're looking for that continuation move, then we're going to be looking for continuation patterns to match that time of day. Okay, that goes back to what we're talking about in here with the this academy approach here. Okay, the scenarios and strategies in here. All right, so that's what we're anticipating or looking for, and then we're going to look for a setup for this time frame or this time of day. All right, now there's another one in here, a flag pattern with failed breakout. Same idea, and here it is, opening drive, and then all this back and forth. And boy, look at that high liquidity in here. But look at all that chop. Right? And here's our failed breakout up here, and then the sellers come in, and we get continuation, and we get this one actually. Actually, this one is a little different. This was afternoon, and then we got this move here to the downside. Okay, this actually didn't happen during that time of day. This one though did, the failed mid-morning reversal, and this is named after exactly this. Okay, so what we're looking for in here, and we've seen this so many times. Here's our opening drive to the downside. This is looking great to reverse. Shoulder, head, shoulder, lots of buyers coming back in, you know, and looking for those buyers to hold it or move it higher. What do we get instead is we come back up in here, trade into high liquidity. We fail to make a higher high. We exhaust out. We start to see sellers come in. Okay, we look for this pattern again and again. What this looks like actually is precisely this. Is we notice this in crude oil. It did it very frequently during this webinar time. And you get this kind of leg one on the reversal, pull back, leg two, and even this one looks good to me, right up to this point, and then it exhausts out. But this is looking like it wants to break out, and so this is where we're looking for a continuation move for the reversal, right? So we are looking for we've got our our head, or I mean our shoulder, our head, our shoulder. We actually get kind of another, and then we're starting to see these clusters of buying pull back, back up another cluster. We're looking for continuation, right? We don't get it. We get a failed breakout here. We notice it in here in the order flow, and then we look for the other side, the sellers to come in, and we start to target some of these areas down below. There's high liquidity in here, or look at some of the swings and match those up. We get one more pullback in here. Buyers try one more time. They can't even make a higher high. And then this is a beauty here. Okay, there's a double top. It's a lower second leg, and I see a lot more selling than I do buying. And that's where we're looking for it to break. And then now we can look for the test into this area and then maybe continuation. So here, all this chop and then continuation. All right, so bringing in to the day here, or into the setups in here, the higher time frame, or I'm sorry, the time of day. Okay, so what time of day are you trading? All right, so now here's our move to the upside here. Okay, we were looking for this earlier. After this, looks like it wants to do it here to me. We come back one more time. We bounce off the 7,000 and we see a lot of buyers come in. Okay, so now we're looking for them to break out and test up into this liquidity here at 10. And let's see if there's anything else up here. This is pretty good move, or a lot of volume behind it, right? Maybe we can come up to 20. Or maybe, we see some liquidity coming in around 14. Right now, I don't know. I would look for a move to 10. All right, now let's just take a bigger step back. Let's look at, we haven't done this yet. Okay, so where are we trading into? What's the structure look like in here? Here's our daily on the left, our hourly candlestick in the middle, and our 15 on the right. We talked about this yesterday. We were trading up into this 90 level. That's what we were looking for, right into these kind of wicks in here. We got that. We got a pullback here later in the day, and then now we're continuing the move higher. It's grinding higher here. All right, so where are we going? Well, we start to look at some of these swings up in here. So 14 or 15 up in here looks pretty good. Let's look for that continuation move. All right, so now we have kind of a map here. We have high liquidity up here. All right, great. So I'm going to clear my drawings and let's map it out. Okay, so somewhere up in here, right? That would be our target. Right now, we look for buyers to carry us up there. Now, it's not going to be that easy. It might be. Maybe it will zing right up there, right? But we've got high liquidity here at 10. We'll likely get a pullback now after trading to this high liquidity. Okay, again, why? Well, let's jump back again. What we're looking at here, the market impetus. Okay, what's moving these markets? Well, we got all sorts of things in here that are about to unfold. Okay, we don't know no one knows what it's going to be. No one knows what the earnings are going to be. That's going to be huge. Okay, for tomorrow. We also have and Thursday, and then we have FOMC tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so for me, I'm looking for taking profits pretty quickly in this environment. I'm looking for more kind of, yeah, we're breaking out, but I'm interested in taking profits and then looking for another setup. Okay, so I'm looking at maybe at just kind of, roughly breaking my key levels, trapping people, and I'm getting out, and then I will wait for another setup. And that's the scenario that I'm going through. The setup I'm looking for is basically, yeah, a breakout trade. Well, here's another like trend line break accumulation right here, guys. But like, I mean, it's on a smaller scale, and it doesn't really, now it doesn't really fit the trend line break accumulation setup, okay? Because we don't have that passive liquidity. We do have it getting filled here. Actually, 1, 2, and 3. We do kind of have it, but this is not a reversal. This is more of a kind of a continuation, right? But this is where I'm running with this, is when we start to understand this idea with the trend line break accumulation, we can start to extrapolate that into other moves. It is about the context. If we start to understand the context of this trade setup, passive accumulation, okay, we see sellers, but we're nowhere in an uptrend, okay, and then we start to see buyers again up in some of these levels in here. We have broken this small structure, and we're starting to break this one. Once we start to see those buyers coming in, I'm looking for high liquidity to trade on the offer. Okay, those are my targets, and I would be getting out. Would I be trailing a stop in this one? Like I said, in this environment, I wouldn't. I would be taking my profits at 10. They're just in a couple of ticks in front of 10 up here. All right, now I don't know. It might come back in, and we might move back up into this zone up in here. Okay, but that's the environment that I am looking for. All right, let's see here. Any questions? A couple of webinars ago, I used footprint chart. I don't really use footprint very much. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Brugesh, I think, in my opinion, I'd much rather look at this context in Bookmap. Actually, let me just demo it. I think this will be easiest to illustrate the point. Okay, I used to use footprint before many years ago, and then once Bookmap came out, I stopped using it. Okay, and I'll show you why. Just a minute here. Here is footprint. Okay. Show the text, show the shading, shades, histogram. That's good. Okay, should show up. Background type. Okay, so it's just loading here. So Andre, follow up on your question about the volume delta dots. I find confusing dots because of aggregation. Well, you can always zoom in, or what you can do is you don't have to have them as aggregated. So you can come up to the volume dot settings here, okay, and play around with a setting for yourself. Here we have clustering. We'll take the clustering off. Use none, and don't use any filters in here either. So they will not cluster. You'll look at all of these, and they'll just kind of overlap each other in here. Okay, so here we can do this, and here's what it looks like, right? So you can see all of the transactions in here. So play around with it, or you don't have to do that. Like you don't have to get in there and just say none, but you can use smart and then bring it down. Okay, something like something like this. It's off at this point, or you can bring it back up, and you can see it filters out quite a bit up here. I usually just use the default, somewhere around 50 in here. That's it. All right, guys, market continues to go up. We're still looking at this zone up in here due to our higher time frame swings here. Okay, on the hourly, it's here. Actually, maybe it's a little bit higher, actually, 16 and a half, 17. All right, so all right, Brugesh, let me answer your question in here about the volume dot or the footprint. Okay. Wow, the bid looks pretty strong. Still going higher, still finding buyers, so we still should squeeze higher here. Still looking for this to squeeze higher. All right. Okay, so let me dim some of the things in here a bit so we can see this better. All right, so footprint chart. Here you can see precisely how much is trading on this bar here of data. Now that's one thing I don't like immediately is I'm looking at a bar of data. In fact, let's go with 5 minutes. It's aggregated, right? So what happened all in here is going to be it's going to be on this footprint here, right? It's going to be adding to it like it's adding to it right now. That volume transaction there is going to be adding it in here on the buy side there. You see that 400, 500 right there is equal to this over here, right? So there's your, this is going to be your high volume node now. You know that in your footprint, right? So that's good. But here's what I like about Bookmap a lot more is I have the price action. Okay, how did it do it within this bar? Well, it kind of grinded higher in here. We see more buying, we see very little, and then we see a big cluster of buying up in here. Okay, now maybe if sellers can come in now at this point, this is going to be a trap up in here, and I would look for the buyers or the sellers to take it right back down to here at this 11 area here, maybe even a little bit lower. All right, so for me, I like to see the market structure with the volume, and then I know that this is a big transaction. I don't know exactly how much it is unless I hover over it, and then I can see, like here I see 425 or 424, right, for this big green dot here. And now we see more over here because there's other transactions in here as well. All right, so yeah, in that case, it's maybe because it's graphical, maybe it's it's not as accurate, but I have the context here within the structure, and that's what I really like. I really need to see that. The aggregate bar in here doesn't help me. Now here you can see like here's going to be a high volume node on both buying and selling right here. Okay, well that's where we've pulled back to so far. Okay, so there's other things that maybe you want to bring in here. That's true, but I have the volume column right here, so I know that this is the profile here. This is your high volume node here. I don't have to look at my footprint. Okay? So it's up to you. Maybe you want to look at your footprint like this, Brugesh, and maybe you want to take the volume dots off. Maybe you find them confusing, right? That's fine. Just take them off, and then maybe you want to look at just price structure and your footprint. Okay, the way I've been using it, and liking it is to look at the overall delta down here. And here I have like two settings, right? I have here, these are where the settings are. I have delta, and then I have the summation of volume. Okay, so the summation, and then what's the delta? Okay, you can put in buy side, sell side, etc. Look at your kind of percentages in here. But I've kind of shied away from these as well. I used to like this quite a bit because you can see a transition like in here. A little bit of buying, a little bit more negative now to positive. Okay, more positive. This is looking like it wants to continue higher, right? So we're looking for this to continue higher. Now, if we look at that in here, this is what I've found is like, yeah, you know, I like looking at the number actually, but just look at the volume delta bars. It's telling the same story. And in fact, this again is aggregate within a time frame here. Okay, you got to wait for that period to close. Well, instead, I can see it in the delta bars down here. I know buying's already picking up. I know exactly where they're picking up in the structure. I don't have to look at the delta in here in these areas, right? Or you can also use cumulative volume delta as well, if you like, and you can also see that delta. All right. So anyway, did that answer your questions, Brugesh? Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Always enjoy watching and very, very clean move. Yeah, you know, we're just looking for clarity, trying to, you know, put these pieces together in a context together and look for clarity, and look for the move to unfold. And, you know, what did we do? Well, we traded back up into our level here. Actually, our level, if we, let's turn the heat map back on. And then let's turn on the volume dots again. Brugesh, if you don't mind, I'm going to take the footprint off. I think I've answered the question here. And let's take a look here at our higher time frame. Let's zoom out in Bookmap, actually. Yeah, actually, let's take the heat map back off for a second. And then let's draw up our zones in here. Okay, so I'll just use the ray tool and hold the shift down, and I'll draw a horizontal line here. Okay, so these are some of the swings, and this is what we're kind of outlining earlier with the zones we were looking at, right? Right here. So yeah, it's a little bit higher, 17 and 27. And let's turn the heat map back on. Okay. This is a new feature in 7.7. See the number up here? So I can put it exactly on 50 if you want. I can use the tool here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm right on 50. Anyway, it's kind of a nice little feature. Hello from Indonesia. All right, welcome. Okay, let's turn on the volume dots again. All right, guys. Well, you know, look, let's take a look at this in here. And you know, I mentioned I'd be taking my profit here. If I look at in hindsight in here, was there, you know, I should look at trailing the stop instead, especially on some of these days where, you know, my scenario was this is going to be a back and forth day. Okay, so I'm going to take my profit and get out. Seen a lot of these days where that's my anticipation and we continue to just grind higher, or, you know, continue, the move continues. So there's a way to capture that with trailing your stop, just knowing the risk though. Okay, now for newer traders that are back testing or trading a very specific setup, I'd recommend that you take your profits, make some money, and look for the next setup. Okay, so you're building confidence by doing that. It'll keep you inspired and motivated. It will also, you'll make a little bit of money, and then you can look for the next step, right? And that next step would be to trail your stop and try to get more out of it. And then the next step after that is maybe scaling. Okay. Now here's another setup in here, potentially. I don't know if I like it, but we're looking at, again, low volume pullback in here, right? So a little bit of selling in there, some selling in here. Look at the low volume node right here, okay, at 11. Okay, right in here, this little area right in here, there's very little transactions, and we can see that buyers are coming in here on the bid. Okay, so now are we going to get buyers being able to bust this little zone here and go higher? Okay, so putting our structure in horizontal and diagonal. Okay, so we want to see buyers back up here. Yeah, we can take a look at Bitcoin. I've got it up, the perpetual. All right, so see how we stayed out of that? Okay, we didn't quite see something. And I don't really like it, to be honest. I know it's a low volume node and everyone loves their low volume nodes. We already have we're kind of up into our range here. And we're looking for, or we're seeing a lot of liquidity in some of these areas in here. Okay, I mean, still the move is to the upside. Follow the trend, go with it. The structure is still bullish here. Okay, but I really need to have confirmation on the volume up here. And if I get that, then I would look for 14 on up into our 17, 17 and a half up here. Okay, but now again, I don't want to just blindly follow my levels. I want to look at liquidity at my levels. And what I'm looking for in here is like, a potential false breakdown and then buyers to come in. Okay, there we go. All right, so looking for a stop run here below our little low volume node here. And now I want to see buyers come back in, and then maybe we can get back up into here to the highs. Okay, I don't see that buying interest yet. So we don't do anything. Okay, it's good we trade into this liquidity here, into our low volume node, and it's rejected. Okay, we just need to see something more in the order flow to give us that confirmation, or more of a confirmation that we're going to trade up to 14 and maybe above. Okay, the bid's starting to act up. Looks pretty good. All right, it's 11 o'clock East Coast time. Let's take a peek over at Bitcoin. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. So look at the bid. See the bid in here, these little areas in here. You see how they kind of bid up in there? And the reaction now is the buyers. Okay, so now let's see the buyers lift it back up into 14, 15, 16. And well, look, our 17 and a half or 17 and 3/4 level up here. It's really, it's above it. It's 18 and up here at 20, really. Okay, But the first stop is this 14 level. Okay, there's our 14. And let's see if we can get a continuation move. And then we'll jump over to Bitcoin then. If it starts to chop around up here, we'll jump over to Bitcoin. I don't know if Nadia in here today? Let's take a look. No, I'm calling her name and she's not even in here. Okay. Got a lot of pilot program traders in here. So welcome, guys. You guys are doing some really great work over there. And I am behind. It's been a real madhouse this quarter trying to get into the room and give you guys some feedback. But I'm just about there. So this week I will. But yeah, Tebow, Owen, Matt, of course, Laura, and others in here. Of course, Shark, of course, Trading is Life. They're coaches. Anyway, no trend breaks today. Too much liquidity on both sides. Trading is Life. Today is rotational day. Just get your base hit. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's it. And we want to learn to and train yourself. This is what the pilot program is all about. It's about building an edge, knowing that you have an edge when you take a trade, and then just prove that. Hit the single, get out, and then once you get out, you can go back. Like look at this example in here up to this 10 level up here. Traded to it and I say, okay, kind of hard-headed, stubborn, and just say, I'm out. That's it. That's all I'm looking for in this environment. But look at this structure in here. Was there any reason to get out of this? There wasn't. I mean, I thought what we'd have is it would trade here and then we'd see a pullback all the way back down here, and it's not worth it. I would rather just take my profit, okay, because of the environment that we're in. Well, instead, what if I trailed my stop and then moved it, down to here, right below the swing in here? I'd still be in it. And when it broke this one in here, I'd trail my stop up in here. Still be in it. Okay. So some considerations now for you new guys in the program, and just confirm your profits and limit your losses. I mean, it's going to inspire you to continue. At least it was for me. And then when I get knocked out of something that I was in, thought I would get knocked out of, then I'm okay with it later, but I want to just kind of eke out some profits to begin with, and turn a profit overall, and start to build out my edge and trust my edge. Okay, instead of like going to a downward spiral, if I move my stop to break even or just a small loss and I had it and I lost, maybe I come back and I might revenge trade or something. This is where I'm kind of going with it. So, but if you know that, you've got an edge and you've traded this many times and you've taken your profits and you've also seen that it continues maybe your direction, then, you can work in trailing your stop and moving your take profit up. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if D&T is in here today. No, I don't think so. All right, so this pullback in here that we're looking at, okay, we started to mark it up in here. We traded into, because it was a low volume node, right? Well, we traded through it, it rejected and came back in, and then we're looking for continuation. And this is unfolded. Okay, great. So what I want to cover is that this is your impulse move here. And this is a low volume pullback. It is, but this has structure in it. Okay, this is different. This is what we were talking about Shark the other day and D&T. Okay, it is a low volume pullback and it is hitting your low volume node in here. Right, and you can see it down here, right? You don't have to, peel your eyes at all. You can see it very clearly. Like this is the impulse move, and this is kind of like your flag pattern in here, or flagging, or now it pulled back pretty far. Oh, he's a little under the weather. Okay, thanks, Stephen. But this is doing it. But there's some structure in here. Right, the low volume pullback have been kind of outlining is that really big impulse move, pretty quick pullback, and then continuation. Okay, now I think this is due to time of day that we're seeing, a bit more, a bit less buying in here, right, before we get the continuation move. So that's another thing to take a look at and consider about market timing on time of day. So are we really looking for that really big impulse move at this time? No, we're not. Right, so it's still continuing to go higher, but let's zoom out. Let's take a look in here. So note this move here and note the volume in here, for example. Hey, look at the cluster in here. So 1030 onward actually looks pretty good. Pretty nice move here. Okay, a lot of volume. We noted that earlier, and we're looking for that move up into 10. Okay, there's still more momentum behind it. So anyway, guys, you can see that we're kind of outlining just these three elements in here: that price structure, the volume or the transactions, and the liquidity. Now what we're doing is moving that into also the timing, the time of day, and then putting that into our bigger picture approach with the impetus and key levels. Hi Todd, you're new. Okay, when do we do these webinars? Every day. The all markets webinars that I host are Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. East Coast time. Oh, that's great. You find them very helpful. Excellent. Yeah. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. We're trying to we're covering a lot of things in here, but the essence of it is boiling down to these three elements really. and then understanding the context of these three elements. There's DNT. All right. You're welcome. Yeah, DNT, this was covering that in here. Low volume pullback, but I think we're kind of covering it a little differently because of time of day. And look at the structure in here. There's a lot of structure in here. It's not like that quick move, low volume, and then buying coming in, and then continuation immediately. But it is low volume, clearly. Right? So we look for that buy volume to come back in and start building and retest back up into here. And then continue as well. Now you can see the continuation's not really working out so far. In fact, we're getting sellers in here. Well, Laura, I think we were looking right at it. We started to draw it up here, and then we look for the low volume or the move into the low volume node in here. We had this high liquidity. There's the move we're looking for. Now we're looking for our buyers in here. So I would be looking either here or back up here. I'd be zoomed in. Yeah, probably here is the safer one. But I always get in a little early, yeah, I should wait maybe a little bit more. Yeah, I'm starting to see it grow in here. I've just seen it so many times do this and then go straight back up, right? But a lot of times I get in too early, and then this is looking great here, right? And especially good here. It's really picking up in here. Okay, that's when I'm looking for it to break. I mean, it's already kind of broken it, but so there's multiple areas in here. I would not be getting in on the pullback here. It's not my my style really. I know this is a low volume pullback here too, in essence. Okay, I want to see this kind of continuation start to pick up in here. Okay? And I know that there's traders here. I know it's here. I know it can auction here. I need to see it come back, and I need to see it auction again, and that's when I get in. And then look for it. A macro low volume pullback. Yeah, it's DNT. This is it. That's what I'm. I don't know if we'll call it that or not. But like maybe we'll just say there's just different variations of the same setup. And we'll go over it because I think the essence of the trade is still there on all these different time frames. What's important is people look for that and look for that edge. Okay, and some of these it just takes longer. And maybe there's just not as much buying interest. So what we were comparing DNT was to this one here, which has all this kind of structure in it, right? And we need to break that structure, right? So this is different than what we were covering here at this low volume pullback on this opening drive move here. Okay, so here, pullback here, buyers come in, boom, looking for the continuation, right? And in fact, what it kind of wedges in here too, to be honest. You can see it, right? Then up in here, that's where you get your next impulse move. Here's your next low volume pullback here. And did it again. Anyway, these I always feel are a little safer, a little easier, because there's a strong move to begin with. So that's what I was kind of hoping to get across in the point with the macro micro. Whereas this one in here, like, is more complex. There's more structure. There's more trades in here, even though it's still low volume. Oh man, that's a bummer, Shark. Having these really quick flicks, your whole computer system goes down. You lose all your data, everything. Resets your internet. Oh man, what a pain. All right, let me see if there's any questions in here. Sorry guys over on YouTube. Yeah, look at Bitcoin. Yikes. Sorry. All right, well here we go. Good time to look at Bitcoin. Here's our breakout. Okay. And back up above here. Let's zoom in here a bit and see what's going on. Yeah, here's a pullback right here to this little level. Okay, so now in Bitcoin, let's see. This is going to be, here's your low volume node here, right? In Bitcoin. So all this structure, right, trades down here. I need to see it reject though, here. Okay, if it can, and we can come back up here at 440, and I get buyers, then I'm looking for it to trade back up into 700. Okay, I'm going to filter my heat map a little. It's a little noisy in here. And why is it so noisy? Well, guys, I mean, these are just highly algorithmically traded. There's all sorts of algo activity in here, right? And it's creating a lot of noise. But we're still looking at high areas of liquidity up here at 700, and then here at 89,000. You should be able to see other comments in here. Flyer, oh, thanks. You've been listening for years. All right, great to hear. Yeah, this is. I mean, we're really starting to kind of divide it up a little bit more. I'm kind of excited about this direction here of getting into these little subjects that will fit into the bigger picture. You know, we've mentioned them many times before, but we never really put it into kind of a cohesive plan or view, and we're doing that now. So I think we're really going to get a lot more traction out of that, and I'm going to have a lot more materials for you guys. It's going to be more on in the pilot program, but these kinds of materials I think will be really helpful for guiding you. I really look forward to it. All right, so well, nothing happening here in Bitcoin at the moment. How about let's go back to that ES. Let's take a look. Okay, it looks pretty back and forth in here to me as well. I mean, I would say we're still bullish, but looking at the volume, the structure and the volume dots and the liquidity heat map in here, it's looking like kind of equal in here right now to me. Okay, and this little zone in here, I just see it back and forth. And we're looking for when there's a skew, something happens. Like they're bidding up here. Okay, they're bidding up, but are we getting buyers up here? Okay, now they're pulling here at 16. Are we getting buyers up here though? Not yet. If we do, on this rotation, and it's auctioned here several times, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're looking for it to really auction here. There they are. Now that liquidity is coming in here also at 16. I want to see the buyers take this on. There they go. Okay, so now we're looking for this to continue. Let's see if we can get back up to 18 and maybe our 20 level here. All right, there we just went through kind of a, I mean, in real time, a pretty good example of what we're kind of looking for, right? Skew in the, so at that moment here, we didn't see anything. And then we started to outline what we're looking for, and it started to unfold. So then we're looking for this to break, and then we're looking for our 18, which is already traded. Let's see if we can get to 20 now as well. Still looking for more buyers. Okay, now up here at 18, because we traded in that high liquidity, I would look for it to pause or even pull back. Okay, that's why we hit our single up here and a lot of times just get out of the trade. All right, let's take a look at our bigger picture again in here. So these are some of the swings we were talking about earlier, and we're there now. All right, so up in here now on this time frame, I mean the hourly and also the daily, I think we're going to get a reaction up here. Okay, most likely we're going to get a reaction up here. We're going to see profit taking, and we might find a lot of selling too. Now we have to recall though that we're still looking at momentum here on the daily and on all time frames here basically. Do you remember this yesterday, guys? What we had mentioned this might look like later, and I think we even targeted it up here. Okay, we mentioned that this is a potential on the hourly, a flag pattern. Okay, which just means continuation, take a break, and continuation. Right, because look at this candle here on the hourly, and look at the wicks down in here. This is pretty bullish. I think yesterday we were just talking about gap fills, or I know we were talking about that 90 level here. So that is right here, right, and up into these wicks in here, and there was high liquidity there, and that's kind of what we're, you know, we didn't get there during the webinar, but we're looking for somewhere around in there as our zone. And then you can see it did sell off at the end of the day here just a bit, and then we're back up above it. So you know, this is where, I mean, heck, we don't know. I mean, it might go to all-time highs, and then maybe it sells off at FOMC tomorrow, or in the after the market closes in earnings, right? Anyway, all right, let's see one more round of questions, and then we'll call it a day here. You should be. Oh, the other comments, Sean, is because we're over in Discord. That's why. Yeah, as Steven, I think, or Dan is mentioning here. Yeah. So you might want to jump over to our Discord server, because we have a pretty active community, and there's a lot of resources. There's no cost to it. You will need to verify an email though, that you've registered on our website, but there's no cost to that. Yeah, the euro, Stephen, exactly. I mean, heading up to 120, breaking out of a zone, that 17 level, and you know, it's so that, you know, we're seeing a lot of traders reacting to the that the Fed is, you know, compared to the euro, that they'll be dropping rates, and that the euro won't be. Okay, we're seeing a pretty cheap dollar. We're also seeing other things that really scare me. You know, this is yeah, I had mentioned, I think many months ago, it was during last April, during the tariffs and trade wars, how we didn't see the dollar as a flight of safety. It was the euro. And you know, people are kind of like, yeah, I don't know about the dollar, and you know, rattling that cage is a little shaky or scary to me. I mean, the dollar is the default petrodollars. You know, the agro dollars. Everything's dollar based, and you know, we're seeing a lot of shakeups. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, anyway, let's leave it at that. A lot of stuff still to come in the markets this week. It's a big week. And yeah, I am definitely you know, interested in taking some profits up in these areas up in here. You know, you can, if you guys are in and trail your stop, you're still looking for an excuse for the market to tell you to get out of it. You can trail your stop, but it's looking more and more likely that you're going to get stopped out. You know, who the heck knows? We might keep pressing. There might be no one selling. We go to all-time highs. You know, we don't know. But I do know this, that we come up in these areas. This is where we found sellers before. I think we're going to get a reaction up in here because this is a higher time frame level. And yeah, I'm looking for reducing some risk at that point. But fit it in within the style that you trade. And guys, we'll come back on Friday and see you there. All right. Thanks, repeat, and thanks everybody. We'll catch up with you on Friday. Have a good week. Okay, bye bye.